Hi everyone, and welcome to another episode of Talkin' Real-ish. Tonight I have a very special guest, someone who has collaborated with us before on Mountaineer Media. If you'd like to introduce yourself.
Hello, thank you for having me, Wiley. I really appreciate it, and everybody in the studio. I am Connor Hamilton, and I am the president of History League.
As the, what is your role in History League?
President.
President, okay.
Yes.
So as the president, I'm sure you are very familiar with what History League does.
I hope so.
I would love it if you could share it with a lot of, with our audience, because I'm sure a lot of them don't know what the History League even does.
Don't blame them. The history department here at Western is very, very small. So the History League is obviously centered around history. We do a lot of different things. We try to do some outreach through history. We try to make history less intimidating overall, both for history majors and non-history majors. We hold a lot of fun history-related events. I know often history is not thought of as fun. Usually when people think of history, they think of memorizing dates and reading books, and there is certainly a little bit of that. But history can be really entertaining. There's a lot of interesting stories throughout the shared human history, and we can really learn a lot from them. Yeah.
You mentioned that like some people might be intimidated by history. Is that like something that you hear a lot from people?
I wouldn't say I hear it. It's more so that I kind of feel it, you know, like
Right.
if I bring up history to somebody that's not interested, i.e. a non-history major or an 80-year-old dude, they're very, very like annoyed by it. Feels like a lot of people, their exposure to history has been through high school, right? And high school history programs, especially in America, suck.
Oh yeah.
Just as a baseline. So they think it's just all of history is just the same of like American history, Revolutionary War, hurrah, hurrah, and then we go from there. And I think that's what they find intimidating is just they think history is just memorizing these events over and over and over again.
But it's not.
It's not. Yeah, exactly. And that's, I think, the biggest goal, at least for me, for History League, is trying to show history is more than the American Revolution and the dates surrounding it, right?
How would you say that the History League is inclusive to people who aren't, you know, the non-history majors? Yeah.
Yeah, so as I said before, I try to do a lot of events that aren't necessarily academic. So we actually have a couple non-history majors in our club already. We have a psychology, an anthropology, geology, and a poli-sci. Those are all semi-adjacent.
Yeah, they seem a bit adjacent.
I mean, geology's not adjacent, let's be clear. That's a hard science. But we have a couple. So I really try to take a conduit of fun and then weave history in there. So for an example, one thing I really like is Jackbox games.
Oh,
we all know Jackbox, right?
I have
Yeah.
Jackbox, yep.
Yeah, it's incredible. It's great for party games, super easy for anybody to get into. And Jackbox lets you often create custom prompts. Like if you do Quiplash, right, you can create custom stuff. So I'll go in there and I'll look like, what's our event for today? Okay, we're looking at this portion of history and we're doing this Jackbox. So I structure it specifically for that. And then if I have time and if people aren't already like tired from their schoolwork, I'll transition us out of that fun event into a more like theoretical debate. Like, what do we think of this event? And I try to get people to talk, even though people normally don't like talking.
And like, how does that sort of break up in a meeting? Like, how long do the Jackbox games go before you're like, okay, let's get serious, guys?
It's mainly on vibes. I mean, some days we don't get serious at all. Like, some days like it's like midterms or finals weeks or now where all our projects are due, right?
Literally very relevant to right now.
Right, and like in that case, it's like people need a break. They don't want to talk about historical theory right now, and so. Then we just go and we go on. Usually, though, it's like 1 to 2 rounds, and then once I'm kind of thinking that everyone's warmed up and they're feeling comfortable, I'm like, all right, now we're going to get a little more serious.
Okay, well, let's get a little bit personal now. What does history mean to you?
So history to me is a conduit for exploring other things. I am not really into academic history, which is what a lot of people do go into with history. I find it a really, really good way to learn and then think about information, bring it back to the world, and also just to learn lessons, right? So I really like what's called interdisciplinary history, where you combine different things. So let's take a historical documentary, for example, right? You need to do proper research. You need those historical skills. You need to be able to communicate to your crew about them. But what's interesting to me is that communication. How do I bridge that gap? And that's really special to me. It like builds these really, really solid bonds with people if you're able to bridge that gap. Something I really like doing is I volunteer at History Colorado sometimes down in Denver, and I work for that children's exhibit. And normally it's not very fulfilling because it's a bunch of children, but sometimes like some old people will come in with their grandson or granddaughter, right? And I'll just talk to them about the history of Colorado, and
Yeah, was the
that's
history
awesome.
was that place too?
Well, it is the repository for almost anything related to, I mean, the history of our state, Colorado.
Okay.
So they have their main campus on Denver, and then they have all these different campuses throughout all of Colorado, trying to remember
Right.
like our unique history, and that includes Native American history.
Oh, very awesome, awesome. So we talked about what history means to you. What about herstory?
Herstory, yes. Unfortunately, herstory has not been the emphasis throughout a lot of history's history. We call that historiography. A lot of historians have been white males, and it's been very
Yeah.
predominated by European and white North American, I guess I should say, history, male. And so it's been kind of a problem throughout all of history. Recently, however, in the contemporary times, there's been a really, really great movement towards emphasizing women's history because, I mean, they are over half the population, so they are very important.
No, I mean like
yeah.
more, at least half, if not more, of our team here are women.
Exactly. So it's utterly ridiculous that they've been ignored for so long. So it's been a really, really great movement to see. And I was actually just visiting this normally very inconsequential place called Boggsville, which is in Colorado. There are these adobe houses, and this is like in the 1850s-ish. And the interesting thing about this is the land tenants are actually owned all by women, which is super unique for that time. And people have been using that to like explore their own identities and stuff.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. All right, well, we've talked a little bit about the contemporary times, but I imagine that in the grand range of like history, all history that exists, I'm sure you have a favorite time period.
I do have a favorite time period, and it's quite far back. So
Is it?
my favorite time period, hands down, is what I like to call the Canaanites.
Okay,
So
how far back is that?
This is the late Bronze Age. So this is like pre-transition to Greeks, ancient Egypt, kind of. So
Do you have
pretty
a number
ancient.
you could maybe even give us?
Oh, I should know this off the top of my head, I guess. It is my capstone project. No.
It's okay.
See, here's the thing. I'm really bad at dates. Like, really bad at dates. And this is why I'm saying history's not all about dates, because I can't really remember dates very well. There's two major aspects of the Canaanites. They show up in the Bible, the Old Testament, and they're kind of portrayed as villains in there. And a lot of people, when I talk to them about it, if they even know about the Canaanites, think of them as villains or even just not real, right? There's a lot of different people and
But
different
they are
interpretations.
canon to history. Sorry.
That they are. They are very real. So they were in the southern Levant, which is kind of what's modern day southern Israel, right? If you can imagine where that is. It's the Fertile Crescent, what we historians like to call it.
I mean, I'm not great with geography, but I'm sure our viewers at home.
I hope so.
just
I hope
Google it.
somebody
Like,
knows where
you know,
Israel is. It's kind of an important place right now.
It is.
But so that's where they're located, and through all my research, I found that they're actually very important in Egypt and Greece. So Egypt and Greece, as like history, we love to remember Egypt and Greece. We love their iconography. We love their stories, right? And the Canaanites actually really help with that. So the Canaanites are actually there before ancient Egypt, and they trade with them, and they give them these ideas. I'm pretty sure the Canaanites gave them cheese, which is pretty incredible. And then like Greece, bunch of Canaanites come to Greece, and they have what we call crypto-Minoan inscriptions on there, which eventually will grow into Greek. And another thing, a bunch of the Syrian and Jewish towns that are built directly on these Canaanite towns. So they're like basically the foundation of a lot of these like Western cultures that we really, really value in our modern day society. They also have a wild religion.
So I know that a very famous time period that, or culture in the all of history that everybody talks about is the Roman Empire. Sometimes they're talking about their Roman Empire and not the Roman Empire. And that was actually what we wanted to ask you today is, what is your Roman Empire?
So my Roman Empire is, I mentioned it earlier, is cheese.
Oh,
Surprisingly, yes.
really?
I'm trying to grapple with this idea of what do I think about a lot, and I've realized whenever I don't know what to say, I do default to cheese. There's a couple reasons for this. First of all, cheese is freaking delicious. I mean, are you kidding me? Like, who invented cheese? They're geniuses, right? Another reason.
Who invented cheese?
I have no idea.
Oh,
I don't think anybody knows, actually. It's been around for ages because there is actually a historical reason for this. The cheese and milk, pastoralists, actually had a higher survival rate than people that weren't pastoralists because milk is sanitized, right? And in ancient times before we had water sanitization, it was very dangerous to drink. Like in Florence, before they had sanitized water, it was recommended that you drink like 5 cups of wine a day. And that was considered healthier than drinking any amount of water.
I'm sure some people would still lead lives like that.
Oh yeah, some people would love it, but now water is healthier, right? So,
oh yeah. No,
yeah,
course,
so when we don't
course.
have that, the pastoralists, they have these really high protein drinks that they can rely on, and so they have a very much higher survival rate than almost any other people around them, right? And cheese is a byproduct of that, and it's been around since ancient cultures. There is a fossilized column of cheese in ancient Egypt.
Well, that's all great, but enough about cheese. Let's move on to some of the other Roman empires there are on campus. Take it away, Caleb.
What great lands I've conquered. What great people I have become to know. And what great places I have gotten to go. Join me today as we learn about the Roman empires of the students at Western Colorado University. I'm here with the Talkin' Realish regular. Thomas, what's your Roman Empire, man?
My Roman Empire, well, my first Roman Empire would be the final mission of Halo 3. My other Roman Empire would be these biceps. Look at these. I just want to put those in my mouth.
I'm here with a lovely angel who was just sent from heaven, clearly. Can you tell me your Roman Empire, angel?
Augmented 6 chords.
I mean, and for the uneducated people, the 3 people who watch this show, can you tell me what that means?
It's a sharp 4 flat 6.
That really doesn't help very much. I'm here with my previous film wife. Her name is it's coming to Lisa.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, it's Linda.
Linda, that's right. Lacey, can you tell us what your Roman Empire is?
Of course. Cade, Frank, something like that. My Roman Empire is Epic the musical.
Uh-huh.
It's the
Like
greatest
epic
music-
rap battles of history? I used to
No.
love that. Lily, you're welcome for me being in your presence. It's your fearless leader. I know you've been really wanting this.
I thought Wiley was our fearless leader.
Okay, first of all, get away from me. Second of all, that is not true. It has always been me. Forever and always, okay?
No.
I'm here again with Mitch. Mitch, can you tell me what your Roman Empire is?
I would say right now it would be fishing and fish and
And fish, right?
fish, yeah.
But what about fishing?
I'd think about that too.
Wiley Brown. Wiley Brown. Such a fickle name. Suiting for a fickle host. Does my love not remind thee of a summer's day? Fine. If he won't accept my love, he can accept my dagger. I'm here with our new human sacrifice in the fire pit. Can you give us your name?
I'm Sophie.
Sophie, now before we sacrifice you to the gods, which is me, can you tell us what your Roman Empire is?
Yeah. I just think about like Lord's first album a lot.
It wasn't Team. It wasn't Team. What was
No,
it?
I don't know, but I think about it.
You think about it, but you don't know about it.
Sometimes
All right,
knowledge
I
doesn't need to
think.
be known.
All right, flame on. Let's get her burning. You know, you look like you're writing about the Roman Empire. I gotta ask, what is your Roman Empire?
Long answer is my Roman Empire is the Library of Alexandria burning down. Specifically, a lot of medical records that were lost. Herophilus, and he performed vivisections, like in the town square. Vivisections are live dissections. So people, and no anesthesia, no nothing like that. He would literally put people in the middle of town and he would cut them open while they were still alive. There's a reason we don't do that anymore.
I'm here with a man whose drink does not match his suit. Do you use that to, really enhance yourself before a performance?
Yes, actually.
Besides steroids, what's your Roman Empire, man?
I'd say probably music. I'm here in Quigley. 80% of my week, I'm always thinking about the jazz.
But fish, though.
Well, fishing,
Yeah,
which in turn grants you.
I agree.
My Roman Empire is the Tasmanian red handfish, because they're fish and they got hands and they
And they're red?
yeah, and they're red and they drag themselves
And they have hands?
along.
My Roman Empire is going to the Mo on the weekdays. Mondays, Superior. Sundays, pretty good. Thursdays, Pool League.
What
Yes.
about when you're actually at the Mo on a weeknight?
I'm thinking about how great it is to be at the Mo on a weeknight.
I have one question for you. Just one question. Do you know how many questions I have for you?
One.
That's right. What's your Roman Empire?
Do you know about Five Nights at Freddy's?
Yeah. Is that what gets you up in the morning?
Oh my god, no, that's what makes me want to stay in bed.
Wiley Brown. Wiley Brown. You'll never see me coming.
Thanks, Caleb. Those were some very interesting Roman empires that you found out about there. Anyways, I think I should probably ask the question that we're all wondering. Could you tell us about what the actual Roman Empire is?
Yeah, so the actual Roman Empire is this long-spanning amalgamation of a bunch of different polities, towns, basically contributing themselves to one empire. It's probably the single largest empire we've ever had. It's throughout history we've seen a lot of different empires, but in this event we see the most people, the most land under one specific rule. I mean, it spans from Spain all the way to Saudi Arabia. What is Saudi Arabia today, right? And all the way up to Britain. That's a very large land swath, and it sees the growth of a lot of values that we hold today. You have democracies, kind of that court system, right? You have large-scale entertainment, those gladiatorial arenas.
Yes, love Gladiator.
Yeah, great movie. You see really good warfare. The Romans were really, really good at stealing certain technologies and then using it for themselves, especially in warfare, right? You see expansionist policies. We see this all of Europe and a lot of Americas. Expand, expand. That's how you get a better nation. That's how you keep people happy, right? And in contemporary times, modern day, we've kind of adapted the Roman Empire into its most shiny qualities. Going back to the Gladiator movie, we find gladiatorial combat very exciting, so that's what we focus on. It also, we focus a lot on the military, so a lot of people that are very enthused with the Roman Empire are very focused on that super testosterone fueled, hurrah, hurrah, and that's kind of what people say when they say, what's your Roman Empire, right? Because a lot of males are like, I love the Roman Empire, hurrah, stuff like that,
And so, it was a large empire. How long did that last?
See, that's actually a very touchy question. Hundreds and hundreds of years. They're around before Christ is born, and we use the birth of Christ as that sequitur between our BCE and Common Era, right? And then they appear a lot through history. So you have the Roman Empire, and then it kind of starts fragmenting, and in the East, it turns into the Byzantine Empire, which is Christianity, and then you have the Germanics being the Roman Empire in the 19th century. They're just calling themselves the Holy Roman Empire. And then you also have Italy is also the Holy Roman Empire. So the question of when did the Roman Empire end is a very touchy question, because just as the end of it itself is hard to do, but also like almost every single European nation and even America has called itself the Holy Roman Empire at some point because we do love our Romans.
Let's talk about the history of History League. Do you know like some of that?
Yeah, I know a little bit. There's not too much. I know that before COVID, it was a somewhat prolific club, and I think the advisor was Dwayne Vandenbush of Western fame.
When you say prolific, you mean like
what we have like Word Horde or like the theater club today. Like they actually had funding and had a decent amount of members. And then it died brutally with Vandenbush leaving for whatever reason, and obviously COVID, right? And then in the second semester of my freshman year, 2 history majors named Molly and Sam remade it, and they really tried to get it going with Dr. Kinyas as their advisor. And they invite me to come in as their secretary, and I send out really bad emails. I'm really, really bad at emails. So I send those out, but then they both graduate that following year. So now there's a power vacuum. And as you know, I crave power. I don't actually. I was just kind of, there was no one else to do it. So I stepped up as president, and I've been president ever since. We had Dr. Kinyas again as advisor. It's my sophomore year, and then he left, so now we have a different advisor, Dr. Speed, a lot of advisor changes. And then I've been president for these 2 years, and we'll see where it goes from there.
That's some history.
Sure
like
is.
I mean, I didn't think it was gonna get like political, like, oh, there was a power vacuum. I mean,
oh, it can get so much worse. This is just the surface.
Oh, okay. If you want to hear more about the history of History League, you should come to the next History League meeting.
We did a debate today. It was really fun. Yeah,
fun.
A presidential debate. Yeah.
When you say presidential debate,
like somebody else is running against me to be president.
Oh, I see.
And I
see.
debated them. Yeah.
Did you win?
I hope so.
Oh. Okay. Well, we've talked about the past. What is the future of history?
The future of history or History
League?
Okay. Yes.
League. I mean, do you know the future of history?
God, I wish. That'd be awesome. I feel like I'd be a prophet if that was the case. The future of History League, personally, I really want to involve more of the professors in classes, because I think everybody has to take like a history class, and I feel like History 100 is really boring. So I want to have History League as a conduit for people to explore beyond the reaches of normal history, that interdisciplinary history I was talking about earlier, right? For example, like they could give a lesson if they're interested in teaching, they could do a podcast if they're interested in that, so on and so forth, and they can do that as assignments. So I really want to work with the history professors in that regard. So that's like my main focus. We also are hopefully going to make a social media account soon.
You don't have a social media account?
We don't. Oh, I know. It's sad. I mean, it's been a rough time trying to keep this club even alive, so I'm trying to make it prosper now, ideally.
I mean, you guys have like at least a description on the Western page, I think.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so some recognition. And I mean, are there any like projects that you guys are working on now or that you plan to work on in the future?
There's not too many specific projects with History League. I mean, the biggest one is trying to really get those professors on board. That's kind of our emphasis. If possible, this is like a total crackshoot dream, but I would love to make like a museum exhibit on campus that we can rotate through, kind of talking about either Western's history or like the Ute history, because there's a lot of rich history here. It's not just cows and colleges. So I really want to try to explore that if possible, but I don't know if that'll happen when I'm here. It's kind of a lot of effort.
I mean, I hope it happens because I think events are like the best way to get a club, you know, recognized and known. Well, I guess we'll conclude with a very important philosophical question of why is it still important to talk about history?
It is very philosophical. It's important to talk about history because we learn from it. I mean, humans build on their ancestors. That's how we create things. That's how we've advanced. That's how we are in this room today, right? Is we've built on the people that have learned things in the past. And if we ignore that completely and we ignore people's stories, we ignore technology, we ignore events, we're not going to get anywhere. Like, the only way we can truly advance ourselves is to look back. And it also teaches ethical and moral debates. We can look at horrible events in history that will make anybody depressed. And we can go, how can we never have this happen again, right? Or we can look at good events, say, what did they do right? What can we do right? It's human nature to look back at our ancestors. We learn from our parents. They learn from our grandparents. So if we're trying to ignore that, are we really being human?
Yeah, I look forward to the future, and I hope that our history will serve us well. Do you have anything else you'd like to add?
Yeah, I would just say expose yourself to history. It's really cool. And if they talk about the Roman Empire run, it's a red flag.
Caleb?
Wrong guy.
What are you doing here? Oh. Ep4, Caleb?
You didn't say it back.
Well, Connor, thank you for joining us on our shoot today. I've been your host, Caleb Lewis, and this has been Talkin' Real. See you next time.